kitchen, so many recipes to share. So many cooks in the kitchen, with meals for you to prepare. We've got fruits and grains, veggies and beans, more healthy food than you've ever seen. So many cooks in the kitchen, plant-based meals to prepare. So many cooks in the kitchen, with ideas we're happy to share. So many recipes to share. So many cooks in the kitchen, with meals for you to prepare. We've got fruits and grains, veggies and beans, more healthy food than you've ever seen. So many cooks in the kitchen, plant-based meals to prepare. So many cooks in the kitchen, with ideas we're happy to share.
Hello, and welcome to our September show of So Many Cooks in the Kitchen. My name is Dilla Barman in North Carolina. Welcome back to our regular viewers, and if you're new, we're so glad you found us. We're a group of Physicians Committee Food for Life instructors. Food for Life is a nutrition education program of the Physicians Committee. We have classes that are evidence-based. We show you how to cook with whole food, plant-based choices to keep us healthy. We also have classes specifically for athletes who want to eat well for high-performance athletics. We have classes for people who are concerned about diabetes. So classes to possibly manage and maybe keep us from diabetes. We have classes in a few weeks locally. I'm teaching a class on cancer. So how food can affect possible disease outcomes and possibly getting diseases to start with, and a lot of other classes. So check out fflclasses.org or go to pcrm.org and you'll find there's a lot of classes around the world. If you don't have a Food for Life instructor in your neighborhood who's offering classes in person, we do have a number of people offering online classes. So we've been doing these shows for well over 5 years now. And before we start, today's topic is corn. I had to show off just last week or two at my co-op, we've been getting these lovely tomatoes. We've done at least one show on tomatoes. These are so beautiful, and it complements corn nicely. So it's here partly just because it's so pretty, and just to share that these tomatoes have been so good. So today's topic is so much corn, and you can see some unshucked and some shucked corn. Corn is a lovely food. Did you know it's actually a grain, but as cooks we treat it as a vegetable? So I believe in Spanish it's pronounced maíz, and it's spelled M-A-I-Z-E. It's been cultivated for more than 9,000 years. My daughter and I were in Chicago this summer, and we went to the wonderful Field Museum of History, and there was this long exhibit about the cultivation of maíz. And I can't remember what it was called. So I believe that maíz is available only by human cultivation, but there's a naturally occurring product, and I can't remember what it's called. But there was a long exhibit about that. We really enjoyed it. It's easy to work with corn, so what you do, believe it or not, you can eat it raw. And it's easy to shuck. I'm sure everybody here has done it. So all you do is you just remove the outer portions. Now you'll find in the grocery store a lot of people like to peel it off a little bit, the silk and all, the outside portion, and see if there's any insect damage. So these look really good. I don't tend to do that because if there's insect damage, I just cut around it. Now, corn has a lot of wonderful nutritional benefits. It's considered one of the three sisters, and the cultivation began in Central America in what is now Mexico, and the three sisters are corn, squash, and beans. And the beauty of this is that these are all nutritionally, they combine well, they work well to give us good nutrition, but they're also great for the soil, and they help with sustainability. So corn has a lot of really nice qualities. It gives you about 7% of the fiber that you need for the recommended daily intake, about 13% of vitamin B1, and it gives significant amounts of vitamin C, folate, magnesium, and potassium. Today, in today's show, I'm just the first cook in the kitchen. We're all Food for Life instructors. Today we're going to be demonstrating my cornbread. It's a savory cornbread. This is a recipe I developed years ago. I used to teach this series called Ethnic Vegetarian Cooking. It was vegan, and I called it Ethnic Vegetarian Cooking, and one of the dishes was this cornbread. The thing that makes my cornbread different is it's a bit savory, and I have some onions. But to be honest, my family really likes my cornbread, and my daughter says, don't add onions. I don't like the onions in it. I'm going to add a little less onions than the recipe calls for, because I'm going to be serving this to my family. And you can omit the onions if you want. But I think the onions add a nice surprise. And, it's not in the recipe, but a little bit of jalapeno goes well with this too. So little pieces of jalapeno if your family likes heat. And what you do is I usually rinse the corn. So excuse me just a second. I'm going to go back to the sink and run some water on it. I like to do that just to get any stray debris that's on it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the kernels. Okay, so I'm going to use a knife. I'm simply going to cut like this. And you'll see kernels may go everywhere, so I'm going to try to do it carefully. I read somewhere that each cob of corn has something like, is it 600 kernels of corn on it? So there'll be a little bit of cleanup required afterwards with sweeping, because it does tend to go all over. And then I'm going to show you a trick. If you watched our show last month when we were grilling, when I was visiting Cody, I showed you this superstition my mom taught me. And I'm not a superstitious person, but my mom's not with us anymore, and it's just a way of remembering my mom. There may be nothing to it, but I like to think of when you have ancient cultures, like my parents are from India, there may be some truth to it. So my mom would tell me, when you have corn, always snap it in half and take a deep breath of both halves. And she said, when I was a little boy, she said, Dilip, you won't get a tummy ache. I don't know that corn gives you a tummy ache, but I do it in memory of my mom. So here's to you, Mom. I still do what you taught me. My philosophy on things like this is it really does no harm to do this, and maybe there's some good. So anyhow, I do that. So let's go ahead and get all the kernels out. And depending on how aggressive you are with the knife, if you're too aggressive, you're going to get some of the cob itself. So it's okay to leave a little bit of the kernel behind and not be 100% efficient, because if you're too aggressive, you really don't want the cob. It doesn't cause harm, but it doesn't taste so good. This is actually called sweet corn. Did you know that the vast majority of corn grown in this country is not for people? It's actually for all these processed foods like high fructose corn syrup, and for animal foods. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the corn that I've removed, and I'm going to put it into a bowl. You can actually eat corn raw. I don't do it often, but for example, in a salad, a little lemon juice, a little bit of salt if you'd like, and the raw kernels is really quite nice. And my recipe, the ingredients, the recipe, I'm of course cooking right now, but maybe one of the other cooks in the kitchen can post it on camera. We do have the recipes for everything. So my recipe calls for, I think, 1 1/3 ears of corn. So I'll go ahead and chop a little bit more of the kernels out. I think it's really great to make a cornbread where you have fresh corn in the cornbread. Can you use the whole second cob? Absolutely. But I'm going to keep the rest of it because I like flame roasting it and then having the kernels with a little bit of lemon juice and salt. Okay, there we go. Okay, so here's my corn. We have lots of cool recipes today. We have Janin is after me. I can't remember. I think Janin is doing some sort of a spread for corn on the cob. I don't eat corn on the cob because it gets stuck in my teeth. When I was younger, I did. And so what I do when I roast corn is I strip the kernels and then I eat it. Okay? So here's my corn. Okay. All right. So here's my ingredients. We're not using the tomato. We have lots of fun ingredients. We have different kinds of flours. We have cornmeal. We have whole wheat flour. We also have a little bit of white flour. Over the years, I tried to reduce the white flour and increase the whole wheat. If it were me, I'd like it all whole wheat, but with this dish, the lightness of white flour actually is helpful. So it is whole wheat and white. We also have, you need a sweetener. You could use turbinado sugar, but what I'm going to be using for my sweetener is monk fruit extract. Monk fruit extract has no glycemic index. It doesn't increase the blood sugar levels when you eat it. So what are the disadvantages of monk fruit? If it doesn't increase the blood sugar level, it tastes to me just like sugar. There are two disadvantages, or maybe three. One disadvantage is if you're eating foods and not relying on the natural flavor of the foods, then you might start yearning for more sweetness. And when you're out and about, if monk fruit extract isn't available, then you might really be craving some artificial sugars, extra sugar. So that's one disadvantage. So I don't use monk fruit extract a lot, but where I need a sweetener, it's definitely my go-to instead of sugar. The other disadvantage is that it's expensive. Many of you know Michael Greger, nutritionfacts.org, and he's also been a little concerned. It's new to the marketplace, and there may be some disadvantages by eating too much of it. So this is rare. I bought this, I don't know, maybe a year ago, and it's not even half over. So I use very little of it. Other ingredients we'll be using are onions. I like these small Vidalia onions, and you need a little bit of plant milk. In this case, I'm using almond milk. I like macadamia milk. I like soy milk. I like pretty much all plant milks. So I'm going to use almond milk. It's easy enough to make your own almond milk as well. You can blanch some almonds, get rid of the skin, and then blend it with water and add a little vanilla if you'd like. Speaking of vanilla, the recipe, I don't think I added vanilla, but vanilla is kind of nice with the cornbread. It's totally optional. And I don't know if you can see, I got a little bit of the corn silk in my milk. I don't know if you can see, but my milk, I put a little bit of vanilla in it. Okay, so here are our ingredients. Let me move my cutting board aside because we won't need this. You can see behind me some of the flours that I've used. I'm going to go ahead and make some space here. So here you can see the cornmeal, the whole wheat flour, the unbleached white flour, and some baking powder. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to preheat the oven, okay, to 350 degrees. I'm going to lightly grease 1.5 quart or 2 quart baking containers. So I put a little bit of a vegan butter, very trivial amount. It's going to add practically no fat. You can use a tiny bit of canola oil if you want. You can use wax paper, or you can use a paper towel and just put a very thin spread of the vegan spread, the butter, the oil. We don't use oil in our cooking. Oil is pure fat, but here and there it does serve a culinary purpose to avoid sticking. You know what you could do if you want to be a purist and say I use absolutely no added fat, you can put some not wax paper, but you can put some parchment paper around it. And maybe I should have done that. But there's just a thin bit of, very little bit of the spread. So that's prepared. And now I'm going to mix I have all these dry ingredients, okay? And I should really have one more bowl. But you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to mix the wet ingredients into the dry ingredients. So let me put all the dry ingredients here. So here comes the cornmeal, lovely cornmeal, okay? And then here's some whole wheat flour. Here's some unbleached white flour. Here is some baking. I always mix it up. It's baking powder to help it rise a bit. So baking powder. I'm going to add my sweetener, my monk fruit extract. And finally, I'm going to add just a little bit of salt, half a teaspoon of salt. Okay. And I'm going to mix my dry ingredients up a little bit. Okay. And then I'm going to fold the wet ingredients into the dry ingredients. Okay. Okay. And the wet ingredients, the corn isn't really wet, but I have some applesauce. The last batch, and I'm not going to have you wait for while it bakes. I'm going to actually show you. Well, let me show you now. This is the finished product. My family ate much of it, but this is what it's going to be. It's cool. You can serve it cool or warm, but this is something I made just a couple days ago. And I don't know if you can see it, but you can see the onion in it and the kernels of corn. And you can see how it's lightly brown. So I'm going to prepare the baking dish, but I'm not going to have you wait while I bake it. So the wet ingredients, which corn really isn't wet, and onion isn't either. It's going to be the onion, the corn, the milk, the applesauce. And I guess that's it. So I'm going to mix this all in. And if you want, for convenience, you may want to get another bowl and first mix these together and then mix the whole thing. But I'm just going to do it one at a time. So here comes the milk with a little bit of vanilla. Let's put that in. And then let's mix in the applesauce. The last batch, the one I showed you, I didn't have any applesauce. I just bought it before today's show. So what I did is I took an apple, I put it in my blender, and I put a little bit of water and a little bit of cinnamon. That was all I did. Here's the onion. My daughter won't be so happy about it. Try it. If you don't like it with the onion, I think the onion adds a nice flavor. My wife liked it. My daughter didn't like it so much with the onion. Then you can leave it out. I've taught this recipe for years when I taught my ethnic vegetarian cooking class, and my students liked it with the onion. And then here's the entire corn kernels. They look beautiful. Let's put that in. And that's it. It's so easy, tasty. You can serve it with some jam. We ate it plain. I'm going to take a bite on camera in a second. So you just mix it up. And you want to make it homogeneous, but it's not critical if you have some extra clumps of flour here and there, it'll still come out fine. And this is about the consistency you want. You want something which flows a bit like that. Okay. Please ask questions anytime you'd like. I'm of course cooking. I can't hear your question or see your question rather, but my colleagues are behind the scenes are watching and they may defer till I get back on so I can see. So once I'm done cooking, I'll go back to be in front of the computer. We have a Q&A at the end. Ask questions anytime, but once we're done cooking, we will then take more questions, and any questions from that point on qualify for our giveaways. We have 2 giveaways today. So here we go. We always have 2 giveaways, sometimes more. Okay. Okay, so that's what you want. Pretty nicely mixed. Smells nice. A couple additional things you can add. I did add a little vanilla. If you want to add a little bit of citrus zest, you can. That would be nice with this. But my mom, when she used to make cornbread, she didn't put onions in, but what she did put in is pineapple. Pineapple goes really well with this too. So if you want a little bit of pineapple, chunks of pineapple, you can do that. And in hindsight, I didn't even think about that. My daughter loves cooked pineapple, and I should have made this version because we're going to bake it and we'll get to eat it. And she'll say, "Daddy, this is good, but I wish I didn't put onions in." I should have put pineapple in. But that's all there is to it. Okay, we're going to pour it into our baking dish. So here's my baking dish, lightly greased. And this is a 1.5 quart baking dish. So I'm just going to pour it in. Okay. Corn is so versatile. It's so neat. I'm sure you guys know there's many kinds of corn. There's red corn, blue corn, and generally the darker corns are higher in antioxidants as well. Okay. So there's my cornbread. And then what you want to do is you want to bake it for 30 to 40 minutes. Okay. And you bake it uncovered. You don't have to cover it. And the trick is, I'll bake this a little bit later. The trick is, I'm not going to clean it up, but before putting it in the oven, you want to take those little pieces out. Actually, I can do that. So just clean off the sides a little bit, right? Because that'll just burn. And there's your cornbread. So bake it 350. Let me just double check. I think it's about 30 to 40 minutes, and see if it's golden. And then what you want to do is put a toothpick in. And many of you know the toothpick trick. See if the inside is cooked, right? If it comes out clean. If it's still kind of clingy, then it may need a few more minutes. I think when I made the last batch, we did it for 35, 40 minutes, and then we chose to bake it for, I think it was 10 more minutes. That's all there's to it. So here's the finished product. You can see how brown it becomes, right? And if you want it even browner, just cook a little longer. There's a trick. I don't usually use the trick, but after 30 minutes, put a tiny bit of the same thing you grease the pan with, just a tiny bit, and then that will make it slightly crispy. So let's give it a try. Let me get my knife again. Let's get just one of these. I'm going to cut just a little piece off. You can see the cornbread. I like the texture. You can see the pieces of corn. I like it plain, but a little bit of jam is great. A little bit of your favorite spread would be nice. So make it your own the way you'd like it, and let's try it. It's good. It's surprisingly moist. And I like the subtlety of the onion. I like when you bite into the kernels, there's like a splash of corn liquid. It's quite satisfying. If you like it sweeter, add just a tiny bit more sweetener. But what I recommend, if you do like it sweeter, then when you serve it, put some jam on, something of that nature. So I hope you enjoyed. I enjoyed being with you. I'll be back after all my colleagues cook, and then we can have a discussion about corn. I think Janin is next, and I think she said she was going to be making a spread for corn on the cob. So with that, I'd like to pass it on to Janin. Take it away, Janin, and I'll see all of you guys soon. Thanks for watching.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to my kitchen in Abu Dhabi. Thank you, Dilip, for the introduction, and welcome to our corn show. As you can see, I'm no longer in my daughter's beautiful garden in New England, where I would rather have used fresh New England corn. But I was there all of August, and I really enjoyed eating it regularly. So today I'm making a simple pasta salad, which is using fresh summer ingredients and also corn. And the secret, not the secret, but the fun part of this recipe is the corn dressing. I found this recipe on Forks Over Knives. I've sort of adapted it to my use today because I couldn't find some of the ingredients. But let's go. Here we are. So for the dressing, I use frozen corn. But for the pasta salad, I used fresh corn, which I was very lucky to find locally grown fresh corn. The ingredients and the amounts are in our recipe booklet as always, so you can always refer there. So this has about a cup of frozen corn, which I had cooked. I boiled water, I let it in it for 5 minutes, and then I took it out, drained it well, and then put it in my high-speed blender. In the high-speed blender, you put the corn with some water and blend it until nice and creamy. However, as you will see here, you also put it through a sieve. There is some gritty and thick parts, so you want this dressing to be nice and creamy. But if you don't mind it being with a little texture, you can actually use it directly out of the high-speed blender, and maybe it's easier because you can just dump all of them in it. As it is now, I'm going to add the rest of the ingredients, which are Dijon mustard, 1 teaspoon. So here I go. I put the 1 teaspoon of Dijon mustard. Let me put that here. Mustard is tasty. And I have 2 tablespoons of lemon juice over here already ready. And for me, this was half of this lemon. So depending on how juicy your lemon is, you might want to, you could just say half a lemon, but two tablespoons is there. Then I use 1 tablespoon. So hold on. First, those, and I put 1/8 of a teaspoon of black salt. So this is 1/4, so I'm taking it. This stuff is strong, so I don't want too much of it. And as always, when I cut and use a lemon, I zested it. That doesn't go in the dressing. And the dressing also has dill. So it calls for 1 tablespoon. This is roughly 1 tablespoon. The rest I put in the and it called for chives, but I don't have chives. Therefore, I bought some green onions, which I put in the pasta salad. So this is the dressing. This makes 1 cup, so you don't need all of it unless you make a big batch of pasta salad. I made enough for 2 people. It's gonna have extras, but so here it is, and mix it well so that the mustard also blends in. So lemon juice, fresh dill, chives, which I don't have, Dijon mustard, garlic, salt, and freshly ground pepper. And if you want more salt, here it is. I'm gonna taste it now. Oh, it looks really beautiful. It's yummy. It's not the sweetness of the corn, but the tanginess from the lemon juice and the dill. It looks beautiful. I don't know if you can see it. It's a bright yellow with the green specks of I'm so jet lagged. I just flew in from the US, and the green specks of the dill. So our dressing is ready, and now I'll put the pasta together. I have cooked a half a packet of a dry pasta, which I always do. It's enough for my husband and I, the 2 packs, but now it's going to get a lot of other ingredients. I have, if it's still summer for you and you're grilling your corn and your zucchini, which I did on the stove top, the zucchini slices I charred on this stove top, and the corn, for the first time, I cooked it in the air fryer. I heated it to 400 degrees Fahrenheit and put the corn in and cooked it for 8 minutes. And then I broke the 2 corn in half and sort of charred them on the stovetop, pretending it's summertime and we're grilling. Later, I sliced them out, as you can see, on the cutting board, and the corn as well. I mean, the zucchini as well. I cut them into sizes that are just about as big as the pasta. So here's my pasta, and the rest of the ingredients go in it. I have beautiful orange colored peppers. They go in there. I have the green onions. They go in there. So I'll give it one toss. It's beginning to look very nice and colorful. I have some tomatoes. You can also use small cherry tomatoes, which would look prettier, but I already had large cutting tomatoes, slicing tomatoes. So I chop them into small sizes. Of course, the queen of the theme today is corn, which I have now. This is my my pretend grilled corn. This is the zucchini grilled pretend. So we mix them all. It's looking very pretty. And for some protein, I have one cup of red kidney beans. So they're nice and colorful. And so here they are. All mixed. Ta-da! It's so colorful. As you can see it well. And then our dressing. So I said this is one whole cup, so we don't need the whole thing. I'm gonna grab a spoon from here. I'm gonna use half of it because it should be plenty. And the half I'll save for some other use. Let's see how it looks. And I might add a little bit more. Oh, it's looking beautiful. Maybe just a little bit more. Just be a little bit more decadent. So here we are. It's got a nice creamy yellow tint to the pasta now. Of course, with pasta salad, if you make it today and use it tomorrow, all the flavors will blend in even better. But here we are. And we have some basil. I don't like cutting basil so much, so I'm gonna rip the leaves little by little, so they stay a bit rustic and big. You can also cut them with scissors into ribbons. This way, if you if you do it by hand, they stay greener. So I was able to find locally grown fresh basil. So how lucky am I? Abu Dhabi is beginning to get much more local produce. Taking my scissors, it's nice, it's easy to do it this way too. I sort of roll it and cut it into ribbons. And this is it. So as always, do go into our into the recipe booklet, check the ingredients out, and also please, like, this salad is so easy, and it's a good way to use. You don't have to do it the same day, but if you have already grilled some corn and you have some extras, you can the next day use all those extras to make the pasta salad. And also, if you had grilled other veggies and you had them left over in these last days of wonderful warm days, September could be wonderful for grilling outside. So if you still, I know my daughter's garden still has a lot of zucchini and a lot of cherry tomatoes, so maybe she can also make this salad there someday. Okay, so here we are. Oh, as I said, I had the lemon zest, which I ate wasting. Lemon, whoop. So the lemon zest goes in it as well. Ta-da! Here we are, our wonderful pasta salad, and I'm gonna grab a fork and do a taste test. I'm gonna do wherever comes up, just the. It's lovely. And who would have thought of a corn salad dressing? This corn salad dressing is lovely, and you can do it in the winter as well. You don't have to wait for grilled corn in the summer. So, frozen corn and all the lovely ingredients gives you a wonderful new dressing. This is it from me, and I'll see you all next week. Next month. Jet lag is not a good thing. Enjoy your rest of the summer days, and we look forward to the autumn recipes. Bye, everybody, and see you all next month. Bye.
All right, thanks, Jonna. That looks so delicious. I can't wait to try it. Hi, everyone. I'm Susanna Dickman from Evansville, Indiana. You can follow me on Eat Plants Be Well on my website and Facebook. Thank you for being here on this Saturday watching our show. We really appreciate all of your support, and that keeps us coming back month after month. Today I'm going to make a real simple recipe salad, I guess you would say, a corn edamame salad. And this is a perfect recipe for this time of year because we're getting corn and tomatoes and basil and even onions if you grow onions and in our garden. So this is just another way to put all those ingredients together to make a delicious salad. So we're going to start, and I have my burner on medium high, and I'm adding some onion. You could use a white onion, a yellow onion, a red onion, whichever you prefer. And remember, we don't saute in oil. We don't use any oil. So I'm just going to let this dry saute for a minute. And when my onion, I don't really want it to brown. I just want it to turn translucent. So in a little bit, I'm just going to put a splash of water. But I want it to go ahead and cook. You see, it doesn't stick. If you get a really good non-stick pan, things won't stick. That was probably one of the hardest things for me to learn when I first began cooking without oil. I'm just going to add, again, just a splash because I don't want my salad to be too wet. But I want to cook my onion a little bit so that the flavor is less intense. When I was chopping this onion, I was literally crying. It is very, very strong, and I want to kind of temper that. So while that's browning, I'm going to go ahead and add some garlic and put that in there. And oh, I wish you guys could smell this, right? Because there's nothing as good as onion and garlic, and that always starts a recipe, but it's so, so good. So you can see my onion starting to get a little bit translucent. So I'm going to go ahead and add my edamame. Now, edamame is so good for you, so much fiber and nutrients. We know that it's a soybean, and you can buy it in the shell and then just steam it or saute it and pop it out of the shell, or you could buy it already shelled. So I'm just going to let this sit here for a second to warm up. And then I'm going to add the star of the show, which is our corn. And you can use your fresh corn from your garden or from the farmer's market. This is frozen corn. You can use that too. You could even use canned corn. I've been able to find cans of no salt added corn. Doesn't that look pretty? I just the green and the yellow. Now we're going to add some red pepper, which is from our local farmers market. You can add green pepper, orange, yellow, any kind of pepper. But just remember to add, it just adds more nutrients. And now that our onion is done, we just want this to heat up because we do want it to have some crunch. And you can see I really don't need to add any more water. So I am just going to put my lid on for a few minutes and let it steam. Everything is cooked, but I want to soften. I want to soften. The onion you can see is already softened and translucent, and I just want my corn and my pepper to get heated and soft. So some of the things that we like to do with the salad, with the edamame, it's a complete meal. And so we'll just eat it as that. I like to have a bed of leafy greens or spinach or arugula. Arugula has been one of my favorite greens lately. And just lay a bed of arugula and put some of this corn salad on top. And it's very filling, high in a lot of fiber, high in nutrients. That's one great way. You can add, I'm just going to add right now, I'm going to take the lid off and add just a little bit of pepper and salt. And that is to taste. If you're not eating salt, then just leave it out. If you like a lot of pepper, I'm just going to put a little bit of pepper. And that's all the seasoning other than some fresh basil that I'm going to use. Because I want it just to be, I want the flavors of the vegetables to come through. But like I said, my husband likes to add hot sauce to it when he puts it on his salad. You can add other fresh spices, thyme, oregano. I'm going to chop up some of my fresh basil in a minute when it's done. But it's heated now, so I'm going to add some tomato, which is my last ingredient. And I would have like to have a little more tomato, but we had a cold spell a couple weeks ago, and when I say cold spell, it's been really hot in the hundreds and high humidity, and then we got down to the 50s, and our farmer, who we get the best tomatoes from, his tomatoes just took a hit and didn't ripen, so I had these little tomatoes from my garden, but you could add more tomato if you want. So let me go ahead and put this in our bowl. I just love the color. You could add some shredded cabbage. Then you really have the rainbow if you got some purple in here. My husband loves to add artichoke hearts. There are so many different things you can add to the salad. And the last thing I'm going to do, I have some fresh basil from my garden, and I'm just going to use my kitchen scissors and just chop some up. So that's a great addition. I hope you will make the salad with your vegetables from your garden or the farmer's market and enjoy. It really is delicious and easy to make. All right. Thank you so much again for watching.
Hi, I'm Carolyn Strickland in Montgomery, Alabama. I'm a Food for Life instructor. And I will be talking today in our corn show about making Mexican street corn salad. So
Mexican street corn is also called elotes. And if you've ever had Mexican street corn, you know it's a real treat. It's hard to find it made vegan, but traditional Mexican street corn or elotes has mayonnaise, sour cream, coated on it, maybe with some cheese, a sprinkle of lime juice, chili powder, cilantro. It's a treat for sure, but it's pretty messy when you're eating it. So it does tend to get all over you and all over your hands. It's really delicious though. And I have had it before made vegan. It's really, really good. So for this, what we're going to do is take the kernels off of the cob. And when you do that, it's no longer called elotes. It's called esquites. And so we're basically making an esquites salad. You could, if you want to, and I have included instructions on how to do this, you could grill your corn yourself. 5 or 6 ears of corn make about 5 cups or so, roughly, of grilled corn kernels. So what you could do is go ahead and strip all of the husks off the outside and grill it maybe indoors on a grill pan. That would be fine. Or outdoors, and you want 5 or 6 ears of corn. And then you could do it that way, and you're going to let them cook for about 10 to 15 minutes, sort of rolling them around a little bit, just to make sure they get evenly browned and starting to char, actually. So you want it to get a little bit blackened and brown in certain spots. And then when they're all finished roasting outside or inside, then when they cool, you'll cut the kernels off of the ear of corn. So that's one way to do it, and I have included instructions in the recipe on how to do that. Takes about 10-15 minutes. So what I have done is gone ahead and I've already got all of my charred corn kernels, and there's an easier way to do this. So instead of having to cook it yourself, you could go to Whole Foods if you're fortunate enough to have a Whole Foods and buy a bag of frozen fire roasted corn. And this is so much easier to use the bag of fire roasted corn. So that's what I did. I have a bag of fire roasted corn. I actually have also grilled corn before, lots of times, but it's so much easier when you have a bag, and I want to show the easy way and tell you about the hard way. So, okay, so we're making esquites street corn, Mexican street corn salad. So we have 5 or 6 ears of corn, or go ahead and get the frozen. And we're going to add that to a bowl. So after you've grilled it, combine the corn kernels in a bowl, if I can get them all out of there. And then a half a cup of vegan mayo. So you could buy vegan mayo, but I have also included a recipe to make super low fat vegan mayo that is made out of silken tofu, the kind that you find that is shelf stable. So a half a cup of either store-bought or your own homemade, and in the recipe I have the low fat vegan mayo, so you could add that. And this is a half a cup roughly of that mayo. And so we're going to put that all in the bowl, and then we're going to add nutritional yeast. So we have a couple tablespoons of nutritional yeast. So remember when I mentioned elotes have cheese on them. It's typically a Mexican cheese, but we're going to add nutritional yeast to give it that cheesy flavor. And then we're adding some lime juice. So it's roughly juice of half a lime, like about a tablespoon or so. And then we could add some fresh lime zest, which really kicks up the flavor. So just kind of zest a nice clean lime. Add that. You know, maybe 1/4 of a teaspoon or so. It doesn't have to be all of it, but okay. Sure smells good already. Okay, there we go. So I have that lime juice and lime zest, and then I'm just going to mix it up until the corn is all coated with those nice flavors of the mayo, the lime, the nutritional yeast to give it that cheesy flavor. There we go. That looks pretty good. And then we're going to add in some nice seasoning. So we have about a teaspoon. You could do half a teaspoon, maybe start with half a teaspoon of chili powder. Add that. And then before you serve it, taste it. And if you want more heat to it, add more chili powder. Maybe a fourth of a teaspoon or so of smoked paprika. I love smoked paprika. That's one of my favorites. And then we're going to add some optional ingredients. I just really like to add them, but this is not something you would normally find on Mexican street corn or elotes, but I really like the flavor of adding some chopped bell pepper. So I have red and green bell pepper. It makes it really pretty too. And then I've added a minced little red jalapeno. They're a little spicier than the green ones. And I've added a green jalapeno. If you want to keep the heat down, then remove the seeds and ribs very carefully out of it so you don't burn your mouth. All right, there we go. Look at that. Oh, that's beautiful. Very colorful. Okay, and then we're adding in, if you don't like cilantro, leave it out, but we're adding in a fourth of a cup of cilantro. That's pretty traditional in Mexican street corn. There we go. Oh, look how pretty. All right. So this is a pretty simple recipe. It comes together very quickly. Once you've got your mayonnaise, if you want to make the low-fat mayonnaise, then have that ready. Once you've got your corn grilled, absolutely do it yourself or buy the easy peasy way and do the frozen corn and then mix that all together. Look how pretty. That's so colorful. And then an optional thing you could do would be to maybe cook up some pasta and make it into a Mexican street corn pasta salad. So I like this one, the shells. It's made of corn, brown rice, and quinoa. So if you know somebody who is allergic to gluten, who can't have gluten, then this is a good option. Or your favorite pasta, if you want to make a pasta salad. If not, serve it just like this. And this is a great, great dish. But adding the pasta to it makes it more of a meal. So this is a really big hit when I've made it for potlucks. We have a vegan potluck here in Montgomery the second Tuesday of every month. It's called Veg Out Montgomery, VEGOUT, Veg Out Montgomery. And we meet at Montgomery's only vegan restaurant called Plant Bay at 6 o'clock on the second Tuesday of every month. So before serving, you could also make it really pretty and sprinkle it with a little more smoked paprika across the top, and then maybe some extra chopped cilantro on top, just because it's really pretty. So, but look how colorful and delicious. So I do hope you try this at home, play with your food, add more seasoning if you need to. So if you think this isn't spicy enough, add more seasoning. We can add salt and pepper, so maybe just a light sprinkle of salt. Didn't even get any out that time, but a little sprinkle of salt and maybe some fresh cracked black pepper over the top. That really adds to it. So, and then more lime juice if you want to. So just taste it before you serve it. More seasoning, more lime juice, make it your own. But this is a big hit every time I make it. So I do hope you try it at home. And do let us know in the Q&A if you have any questions. During Q&A, if you ask a question, you will be entered in the drawing for our prize giveaways, just like every month. So, and I can't remember, Dilip, are we going to Q&A now or is somebody else after me? I don't remember. I'm sorry. But thanks for watching and do let us know if you have any questions.
Hi, it's actually Cody next, and let's bring Cody on stage. So here's Cody.
Hi, everybody. It's great to see you. Carolyn, I gotta tell you, I've been wanting to make a veganized Mexican street corn recipe, so I really appreciate you sharing that with us today, and I'm excited to give it a go. It looks so good. All these recipes have just looked fantastic. Oh my gosh, I just absolutely love everything that we put together as a team, and it just makes an amazing variety of different types of recipes, all centered around one certain ingredient. It's just been so amazing to do these shows with you guys. So anyway, well, welcome. I'm Cody Stubbe. I'm in Omaha, Nebraska, and today I'm going to be sharing with you just a fun little recipe that I made up, and it's just like a delightful corned bean dip. It uses fresh ingredients. You can also use canned certain things, of course. Like well, I'll just get going on it, okay? But for this one, so I start off with a can of corn, sweet corn that's been rinsed and drained. Now you could do fresh corn that's been cooked, and you can simmer it. You can grill it like Dilip did when he was at my house this summer. That would be really tasty in here as well. But I just did a can of it, rinse, drain, put it in my big bowl here. And of course, got to get some black beans in there. This is really quite an all-inclusive dish when you get all done with it. So we got your black beans, so rinsed and drained. All right. And then I have some red onion. You can do whatever onion you have on hand, but I thought I'd do this because once I get it all together, it's going to kind of look like a rainbow salad. So Susanna, I know you mentioned the rainbow. This is almost there. I won't have blue. You know, I was thinking about that. I'm like, I wish I would have had some like blue sweet corn or something. That would have been delicious to put in here and very pretty to look at. All right. Oh, it smells so good. Got 1 tomato. All right. Now, a couple options here. Like I like jalapeno. My kids don't care for the spiciness of it. I don't know if they're going to eat much of this. So, I mean, I'm just like, should I put it? Should I not put it? I can just always make another batch, right? I just want to throw it in there and have it all together because I'm so excited about this. So I'm going to add in 1 finely chopped jalapeno. The kids are just going to have to wait a little bit longer on their version of this if they don't want that spicy. All right. And then, and you can put more or less of any of these ingredients, okay? So if you like really spicy stuff, put 2 jalapenos in there. If you don't like so much, either leave it out or maybe like a half or a quarter of it, okay? Now, I do also want to put in a little avocado. And you don't have to put this in, but if you do put it in, I would put it in the same day or before you wanting to serve this. You don't want it to get browned. The lime juice I'm going to put in will help with that, but it could still get a little bit brown. So I would say like cut and put your avocado in shortly before you serve it. So I will be eating this really soon. All right. So then, ooh, it's looking pretty. I'll stir it real good here in just a second. Another good option to throw in here is a little bit of cilantro. Whatever amount you like, and you can leave it out if you're one of those people that just can't handle the cilantro. I love it, and it's packed full of great antioxidants. Usually I have some in my garden in the back, but I currently didn't have any, so I had to buy some at the store. So I'm just going to chop it up here real nice. Give it a toss in there. Okay. Last, I got some lime juice, some freshly squeezed. I think the recipe calls for 1 whole lime, but these ones are really big. So I just did half and see how it is. And I'll mix it up here, and I can always add the other half. It's looking really good. Oops, I always have to spill a little bit. There we go. Look how colorful that is. Got, I think, every color but blue in here. So almost the rainbow. Let's serve it up. Oh, I don't have orange. Nora's over here telling me I don't have orange in there either.
You don't have teal.
All right. So there we go. Now, if you can find some chips that have like low sodium, low fat content, go ahead and get them, or you can make them yourself real easy. You want to try it? Mmm. perfect. I love that amount of lime juice, just enough to taste it. And the longer you let this set, the more those flavors are going to mix together, and it's going to be even better. So, all right, you guys, give it a shot. All right, thanks for joining me in Omaha. And we're going to go to, I think, Q&A now.
All right, that looks great. Hi, Cody. Hi, Carolyn.
Hello.
Hello.
Excellent show. Corn is so tasty. And
Mhm.
hi, Nora.
Hi, Nora.
So thanks for, we had some really good questions and can pick up on a few of them right now. But any questions that come on from now on, including Martha Coles and Carolyn, would you be so kind as to make a list of the people asking questions? And the first one is Martha Cole.
Sure, I'm gonna find a piece of paper.
So if you ask questions from this point on, then you'll be in the drawing. We have two wonderful prizes. We have a corn stripper, a corn. It's like a cup, and you kind of push this thing down, and it strips all the corn. And we have a 1-year subscription to Vegetarian Resource Group's Vegan Journal. I have to say something. So Karen Osborne and Karen is the one who really picks out the gifts, and we talked about it. And I got the corn stripper. I have it here, but I haven't used it yet. I just got it like 2 days ago, and I'm wondering how well it works. So I should have tried it, but I don't have any corn on the cob. I had some corn on the cob, and I stripped it with a knife. But the tube in the middle looks really narrow, and I'm hoping it works. So
I'll be curious because not every corn cob is the same, like circumference. So it seems like the same thickness. Can you adjust the thickness on it?
No, you can't. And I used to have this thing which was like tongs, and you would kind of adjust it a little bit. It didn't work well. So for about 20 years, I used a knife. I had that. I finally donated it because I just never used it. So I'm hopeful this works because the videos that I saw of it looked pretty good. But anyhow, let's get to some nice questions. And I had Martha's up, and Martha's question is, can you put a dressing on it? So Cody, question for you. Can you put a dressing on your lovely dish?
Oh, yeah, I would think so. Like maybe if you want a different flavor, you could go like with maybe an Italian dressing or some kind of a Mexican dressing that has like low to no oil in it. Watch the sugar content. So as long as it's like a healthy dressing, you could totally try that instead of the lime juice. The lime juice is going to help keep the avocado from getting brown. So keep that in mind, the oxidation of that avocado.
One thing about oxidation of avocado is it's purely aesthetic. There's no harm if you get an avocado that's a little bit brown. So, but yeah, it looks better with this vibrant green. Okay.
I usually just think of lime juice as the dressing, but
me too.
Yeah, it doesn't really need anything else.
Right.
I mean, it's so good. I mean,
but what's really good is actually if you take some of the low-fat mayo, like I made in my segment, and add maybe a few tablespoons of lime juice and a little chipotle hot sauce, and mix that together. That could be a really good dressing too.
Yeah, that'd be delicious.
Yep. I wanted to mention something about dressings. Is my parents are immigrants from India, and salads are used in India. It's called salad, and the idea of now anything goes. There's such internationalization, but at least when my parents came from India in the early 1960s, at least where my mom and dad were from, they didn't use dressing. So we grew up with dressing, which was always a little lemon juice or lime juice and a little salt and pepper, and that was it. And when we got older, we'd go out to restaurants occasionally, very rarely, but occasionally. I don't know if you two used to go out to restaurants. My mom and dad didn't take us to restaurants very much at all. Did you, Cody or Carolyn, did you guys get to go out to restaurants a lot growing up?
No, but what we called restaurants are probably different than what you called restaurants.
It was always a special occasion to go to a restaurant.
Yeah. It's funny, when I visited India after I got married with my wife, I found out, at least where my wife's from, they don't call it a restaurant, they call it a hotel. Going out to a hotel, and confused me for a while. But anyhow, we go out to restaurants and we discovered French dressing and Italian dressing, and so it was something different, and we would eat it. And I never cared for it that much, and once I became more cognizant about fentanyl, since I didn't particularly care for it anyhow, we just never get it. There's plenty of make your own or commercial vegan dressings, but I always go back to a little bit of the thing about lemon juice, and you can skip the salt if you want. Little lemon. I have a question about that coming up for you, Cody. But the thing about lemon juice on nice vegetables, it's just so refreshing. It's so wonderful. It brings it all
Mhm.
alive. And to
Yeah.
me, and I'm not condemning people using dressing. That's perfectly fine. There's some dishes where it actually does quite well, but to me, on a fresh salad, the dressing kind of weighs it down. And even if I weren't concerned about fat, it's just my personal thing. If you like the dressing, then there's definitely lots of options. There was another question that came in, and this was actually for me from Janet. And Janet, I apologize. I apologize to everybody. I have no idea why we didn't stream on our So Many Cooks Facebook page. I have
I
no idea
couldn't
why.
find it either.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
It's
so
weird.
one of us posted and said, "Take a look." So Cody's holistic dish was live, and so was my personal page. If you happen to be a personal friend of mine, you could have seen it there. And I think we streamed on your Facebook page, Carolyn. I think,
It was. I saw it there.
yeah,
That's the only place I could find it.
on
Very
YouTube.
strange.
You,
Something was really wrong today. I don't know what it was, but
yeah, we work hard behind the scenes, and when we rely on technology, uh, who knows why?
it
So anyhow,
fails us sometimes,
yeah,
for
yeah,
sure.
it does. And here's a question for me. And before I take the question, I'm reminded. I don't know if you can see my mom's picture. So
Mhm.
she passed away, but in my segment, I talked about doing this thing with corn. I did it with Cody, and so. Thank you, Mom, for teaching me that. That's one of
It
my
always looks
ways.
like she's on your shoulder looking out for you, Dilla.
That's
Mhm,
right.
that's good.
Still follow her advice.
Making sure you make it right. Cook it right. Cook it right.
So here's the question from Janet Doe, and sorry that you had problems posting. I'm glad you figured it out. How about putting a thin coat of tahini? So for nonstick for the cornbread. And so Carolyn and I were actually discussing this, and we have a slight difference of opinion. So I'll share mine first, and then Carolyn, I certainly invite you to share as well.
Okay.
So I will answer it unjaded by what Carolyn and I said. And I said, yes, of course you can, but she's going to give you a good counter or reason why not. Because it is a fat and they'll keep things sticky. Now we try to avoid fat, but when you're adding just a tiny bit to grease, it's a non-issue because it's such a small quantity. What I did a little while ago is I put a little bit of Earth Balance is what I use. It's a vegan margarine, right?
Mhm.
And I took, you could use wax paper. I just used a little bit of paper towel and I spread it. And it was such a tiny amount. It contributes maybe, it was like a quarter teaspoon or a half teaspoon of, probably a quarter teaspoon of fat. So it's a trivial amount. So you can do that. Now, you had asked about tahini, and because it's a fat, you could use that. I think it's a better choice to simply use parchment paper because
That's
then, it just lifts right off and you have
Mhm.
added zero fat. I think if you want to add a little bit of fat to this dish, it's better after you cut the cornbread and you put a tiny bit of vegan butter, vegan margarine. Right now, there's some of my favorite jams are on sale, so I've been putting. I've made a couple batches of this cornbread, so I've been putting cherry jam on it, and it's pretty good.
Mhm.
So the only problem with the tahini, and I'll let Carolyn amplify because she feels stronger about this than I do, is that it adds a strange flavor. I love mixing unusual flavors, but this combination just I don't think does a great job. But go ahead, Carolyn, tell us what you think.
So I think it would alter the flavor a lot. I would much prefer to use parchment paper because that's what we use. So in the research study that I'm working on with PCRM, we use parchment paper in everything to keep things from sticking. Um, it's become kind of my fallback in almost everything I make. If I'm putting it in the oven or the air fryer or anything, I put parchment paper under it. Um, I do think tahini, I mean, it might work if it's a really liquidy, oily tahini, but then it's going to be a lot of oil, which is unnecessary fat, and it's going to change the flavor enough that I don't think it would be worth it. So, because most of the time tahini has a pretty strong sesame flavor, which I don't think goes very well with cornbread. So, I mean, you could try it. I would be really curious. I would rather use parchment paper any day just because it's not going to change the flavor of anything, makes cleanup really easy, doesn't add oil, doesn't change the flavor. I would rather use parchment anytime. I don't know. I've never tried using tahini to keep things from sticking. I guess it would work if it was really oily, but then, you know, if it was real sticky tahini, like thicker tahini,
It
it
wouldn't
may
work
not
then.
work. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it's just too sticky.
Th- There's
So
there's two more things I want to say about that. One is, what is tahini? What is parchment paper? So tahini is basically, it's the Middle Eastern equivalent of peanut butter, and
right,
it's just blended sesame seeds,
right.
and it tastes great. So uh, it's so easy to make your own hummus, and I don't. And the reason I don't is because you have to clean the Vitamix, the blender. Now I have a wider Vitamix. I'm just thinking, it's maybe I should try it in the wider Vitamix. It's probably really easy to clean out. So we buy hummus, and there's many interesting flavors. So my wife recently picked up one of the brands we like, but she said, I bought some hummus, but it wasn't. It was actually a creamed tahini. It was so good. It was
Mhm.
delicious, and it made a great dip with crackers. But it's pretty high in fat. So
Sure.
so if you want to make hummus the traditional way, you'll put a little bit of tahini, but you can do with minimal or no tahini. You don't actually have to add the tahini to make
Absolutely. Yeah,
hummus.
you can make an easy oil-free hummus because we do that all the time for the research study is that we're like seriously no oil for the research study. So we do everything as low fat as we can. So I'm getting really used to making things without any oil or any added fat. And it's,
Y-
it's
You
a
know,
good
let,
habit to get
let,
into.
let's take a second, and I'm going to let Cody kind of run with this. Cody is a nurse, and so let's talk just for a second about fat. So we avoid extra fat because we get fat in everything. It's in broccoli. There's a little bit of fat in broccoli. There's a little bit in pretty much everything. But for some people who have significant health conditions, you really want to take this seriously. If you don't have such health conditions, you can be a little bit more easy with that. But would you like to take a second, just talk a tiny bit about added fat, Cody?
Oh, sure. Um, so like you said, there's a little bit of fat and like even broccoli, and like that little bit of natural fat in these foods is of course totally fine because you do need a little bit in your diet to absorb those fat soluble vitamins, right?
Right.
And then there's also water soluble vitamins. So anyway, if you're looking at like disease reversal or stop further progression, you really need to look at any extra added fat into your diet. Specifically like the saturated fat. And of course, animal products are very high in saturated fat, right? As well as cholesterol and other things that are harmful to the body, like that are very inflammatory. So that's one reason why we promote not eating animal products, right? But we're also looking at like saturated fat and plant products, like coconut oil has a very high percentage of saturated fat, and that can contribute to health problems as well, including cardiovascular disease. So when we start taking out extra added oils in one's diet, you're hoping to like let's see how I want to say, like make your body more insulin sensitive if you're diabetic. Even if you're not diabetic, it'll make your body will regulate the insulin better, and hopefully, help prevent from getting type 2 diabetes. If you do have type 2 diabetes, you can actually have reversal over time in conjunction with what you're currently doing and may have to taper off insulin or metformin or whatever medications you're on during that transition period and being closely watched by your physician or healthcare provider. So you can easily get weight loss. I lost, my baby weight after having Nora real easily by going whole food plant based because I cut out all those extra added oils in my diet. You get better energy, you get better circulation. Your body's not dealing with inflammation like it normally is. You get all these great antioxidants, clear skin. I haven't had a breakout since I was plant based. I used to occasionally once in a while. So there's all these wonderful benefits. But really, you're looking at when you cut down that added fat, you're looking at disease reversal, which is very important because that's our goal is to get people healthy. So.
We live in a society with high rates of disease, and it's unfortunate we have a lot of diseases of wealth. We have so much food available, and I wish as a society we made better choices. And it's exactly what Cody is saying. And I encourage, because some of our viewers may not be plant based, and I'm so glad that we've attracted you to at least increase the plant-based consumption you're having in your diets to be closer to vegan. And of course, the more close you get to vegan, the better you are. We insist on evidence, and everything Cody said is backed up with evidence. There isn't evidence yet, as far as I know, but there's a lot of circumstantial evidence, a lot of indirect evidence that if you're 100% vegan, that's the best way to go. But there's a lot of evidence. The closer you get to that, the better you go. Do either of you guys, are you familiar with any published studies that say that the difference between 100% vegan and 95% vegan is measurable? Because I haven't seen that yet.
Hmm. Yeah, I don't think I've seen that specific. I mean, I know for sure we have a lot of studies that show, you know, eating a plant-based diet can reverse diabetes, can reverse heart disease, that kind of thing. But I don't think I've ever seen a comparison of like 100% plant-based versus 95% plant-based. That's an interesting study. I'm just not sure who would pay for the study.
So purely from an evidence point of view, we want to be as plant-based as possible. And then, of course, there's many other reasons to go vegan, plant-based. It's by far the best thing to do for the environment and, of course, for the animals. And so I think there's a lot of arguments to go 100% plant-based. And there's definitely lots of health-based evidence. And I would encourage people to check out credible sources. Michael Greger is a great source. PCRM is a great source. And there's so many published authors who are talking about these issues and sharing evidence.
Right.
Okay, Hyacinth. I was about to ask one of my own questions, but Hyacinth comes in with a great question here. I understand that corn isn't good for us to eat, and it's because of all the spraying. Is that true? Because I can't get organic corn. This is a great question. So I try really hard to buy everything organic. I don't do a great job with corn. Here in North Carolina, we some years don't get any organic corn. This year we had some lovely organic corn. The downside with organic corn is there tends to be more insect damage, and I'm cool with that. It's not at all a problem. I buy organic corn, and I don't even strip the little bit of the husk and look in the store. I just take it, and if the end part has insect damage, I just cut it off. So I don't mind that. But uh, I do much prefer organic corn. It tastes better as well. So would either of you guys have some information about if we only have not organic corn, is it a disadvantage? And I would say probably it isn't. There's still lots of healthful benefits. But see what you guys, what Carolyn, what do you think about that?
You know, I don't know that there's a lot of research on that. I haven't really seen a lot of research on, I mean, what I always look for is I do try to talk to the farmer, and we do have, I go to the farmer's market and I ask the farmer, how much did you spray on this? And I know the specific farmers that are safe as far as like they spray early in the season before there's actually corn stalks growing. It's, I mean, corn on the stalk. And so I can always tell too, because then the corn that has the less pesticide on it always seems to have worms at the top. And I'm just used to that. And I just cut the top off where the worm is and I eat the other part. So I know I feel okay about that, knowing he didn't spray as much on it. I mean, it's seriously hard to find organic corn where I live. So I just do the best I can. And sometimes when I'm at the store, I just buy bags of organic frozen corn
I was going
because,
to suggest that
you
that's
know,
always available where I am, not just at finer markets like Whole Foods Market or the co-op, but
right.
if I go to regular grocery stores, they always have frozen organic corn. So
Mhm.
Hyacinth, I haven't seen evidence that eating not organic corn is unhealthy. I've seen a lot of evidence that corn has, and if you look at our document, we have in the appendix, especially Brenda has written up quite a bit about the benefits of corn. I would say even if it's sprayed, you'll of course want to wash it. And if you want to be very careful, they actually sell things which you can dip your vegetables in and really clean them more properly.
Right.
I would say the advantages far outweigh the disadvantages. But if you want to be particularly careful, then don't buy fresh corn, buy frozen corn. As I
Right.
recall, you live in the Caribbean, and I know it's kind of weird, but the Caribbean, the weather is so nice, and yet sometimes it doesn't seem like you get great produce because in the Caribbean, they often import their produce from Florida, I believe. So
Mm.
you may not have access to that, but take a look. But it's a great question, Hyacinth, and please chime back in if we didn't do a good job explaining it. Cody, did you want to share? Cody's really the corn queen because she grew up surrounded by cornfields, and
I literally almost grew up in a cornfield, right?
Mhm.
I would say it's your personal preference. I say if you can, like they suggested, get the organic frozen. Let's see. And it just depends too. Like, let's say that you're struggling with a health concern. That may be something you want to put on the back burner. If you can't get organic and you really feel strongly about it, just put corn on the back burner until you get access to organic to try it. Whatever you feel comfortable doing, you know what I'm saying? Because I haven't seen any research either, but you never know. It may come out down the road. But yeah, it's hard to get organic corn. I don't know if you're ever interested in trying to grow your own. It's not too hard to do if you have a little section. It's kind of fun. Um, I don't know, it might be worth the experiment, and then you know what you're putting on it too. So
I wanted to also suggest, Hyacinth, that when you comment that I understand corn isn't good for us, I haven't heard that. So when you hear these things, make sure you check out what the source
Mhm.
is. So, who
Right.
said that? So, because I've not heard anybody say that.
Mm-mm.
So maybe you're referring to the Dirty Dozen, which is published by, I forgot the name of the organization, but I don't think even they would say that, these products are bad for you.
The
Um,
Environmental Working Group.
Environmental Working Group. Now, one thing I thought you might be referring to is about corn is that the vast majority of corn, and I wrote about that in my section, that we grow. Cody used the term sweet corn, and I never grew up knowing that term. That's what my wife calls it too. But the vast majority of corn that we grow in this country is not sweet corn. It's a product that's used to make high fructose corn syrup, processed foods, and animal feed. And so maybe that's what you're hearing is that kind of corn. It's a tough corn. I'm not sure it's even really edible by us. It has to be processed. And maybe that's what you're talking about. That high fructose corn syrup is not good for you. Would either of you like to talk a little bit more about high fructose corn syrup and why it's a poor choice? And if you're sweetening something, you're far better off using sugar rather than high fructose corn syrup.
Mm.
It's addictive for one.
yeah, I think it's even, isn't it like sweeter than sugar? I'm trying to remember. It's used in soda. Um, yeah, just
Highly processed,
right. Yeah, and they
very
just
refined. Yeah,
they shove it in the soda, and yeah, it gets people
right.
more addicted to those sugary drinks and everything. But there's just really no nutrition in it. It's just empty calories.
Right.
Calories.
Yeah,
No
highly addictive.
nutritional value. Yeah. I would much rather use like coconut sugar,
Mhm.
date syrup, those kinds of things that are from actual whole plants. Or
So
dates themselves,
I,
just using dates.
I used it in my recipe and I talked about it. So monk fruit extract, and I
Mhm.
know that there have been some concerns about the erythritol. I'm not sure I'm pronouncing it correctly, but I found
Erythritol. Yeah.
I found now in the marketplace they have erythritol free, whatever it's pronounced. Uh,
Oh,
and
real? I haven't seen
yes,
that because I
yes.
found a bag of monk fruit sweetener in my cabinet the other day, and I thought, "Huh, wait a minute, is this really monk fruit?" And I looked at the back of it, and it said the main ingredient was erythritol, and there
Well,
was a
then
little monk
the
fruit. So I just
the
threw it
the
away.
ones that are available now, I'll get you some, Carolyn, if you're interested. So the ones
I've
that are
never
available.
seen that.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's easy to find. Are 100% pure
monk
organic
fruit.
monk fruit. And
Okay.
so I mentioned this in my segment, and I'll just repeat that, is there's only a couple. So monk fruit extract doesn't increase your blood sugar levels, and it tastes just as sweet as sugar. The only
Mhm.
disadvantages are if you start adding that a lot, then you don't get used to the native flavors of your foods. And then when you're out and about, you say, I'd like this a little sweeter, and you don't find monk fruit. So then you reach for the sugar. And so that's
Right.
the one disadvantage. The other disadvantage is it's expensive. So those are things to watch out for. But I think monk fruit extract is a great choice. And honestly, if you do have to sweeten something, like I like making lemonade, you're much better off using, turbinado sugar than definitely not high fructose corn syrup.
Oh, yeah, no.
I don't, yeah. So I
That's the
remember,
one part of our corn show. No, we don't recommend corn syrup.
Everything but that corn, right?
Corn syrup,
I,
not that corn thing.
I remember talking about my mom again. So my mom was a great cook. She didn't know much about nutrition, and I suspect that's true for many of our parents, right? Or many
Sure.
people today. Most people, I don't think, are so aware of nutrition, but certainly my
Right.
mom wasn't. And so she made yummy food, but there was a lot of fried foods, and she wasn't a vegan. She was a lifelong vegetarian, and there was plenty of dairy. And that was one reason she died, I think, because of all she had a stroke, and the doctors actually said your mom probably consumed a lot of dairy. I said yes, she did.
Mm.
But she would use. I remember she'd make like pancakes and waffles, and she'd have I think it was called Caro syrup, and I think it was corn syrup. I think.
I grew up
Uh,
having that.
yeah. and then she would occasionally buy like some maple syrup, but if you looked at it, it was like diluted. We
Mhm.
use maple syrup, but it's 100% pure maple syrup. It's like, why would you dilute this great stuff? It's expensive,
Mhm.
but you're getting what you pay for, right? I
Mhm.
want maple
Yeah.
syrup. I want pure maple syrup. If I choose to dilute it, I'll do it myself, right? So I've never understood why people buy them imitation ones. Let's go on to another question. So this is Martha. I know this isn't a corn question, and Carolyn, you're getting all the names of the questioners, right?
Martha. So Martha's the fourth person I have right now.
Okay, so you've had the others. So it's not a corn question, but what kind of, oh, and by the way, thanks, Janet. Caro syrup is corn syrup. Thanks.
Yes, it
But
is. That's right.
yeah, but Martha asks, I know it's not a corn question. What kind of shake can I feel when there's no energy and sluggish? So I'll start to answer. I'll invite you to join in too. Is smoothies are great, but be
Mhm.
careful because smoothies are not meant to be drunk, like this.
Quickly,
Yeah. Can,
not quickly.
can you tell I'm a math teacher too? I teach math and nutrition.
I see it. Don't understand a word of that, but yeah,
So
it's all Greek to me. But
some of it is Greek, literally.
I know that's why I said that, Dilip. I was being punny.
So smoothies can give you energy, and especially if you include greens and all. But drink it slowly, and that should be a good source
Very.
of energy. Use things like dates for sweetening. That's a great source of energy as well. But just don't drink it quickly.
It
And
spikes
then
your blood sugar up too high really quickly. So
yeah, but if you're
yeah.
sipping it, it's often a good choice. Um, so other things is green smoothies, just kale and some water
Mhm.
and maybe a date or two, something like that. Would two of you like to add to the answer here about shakes?
Getting energy shakes. Um, Yeah, I mean, the thing I would add to the smoothie idea is, and I think smoothies are great and I drink them sometimes, um, or shakes if you want to call it a shake. But I mean, to me, that's pretty much the same thing.
Mhm.
But if you're going to have one and it's going to have like 4 apples and several cups of orange juice and 3 bananas or whatever, you're putting so much stuff in it. If you put all that same stuff in a bowl, would you eat that much? And if you wouldn't, then you probably don't want to have that much stuff in your smoothie either, because then you're getting all the same amount of calories very quickly and kind of pre-digested. So the blender's doing all the work your teeth would have done, and you're just quickly getting those calories in. So, I mean, I love smoothies way more than juicing for that reason, because juicing takes out the pulp, takes out all the micronutrients attached to the pulp. But yeah, I mean, my caveat about smoothies is always don't put more in your smoothie than you would actually eat out of a bowl, and then drink it really, really slowly. You could add some things into it for extra energy, like PB2 powder. So PB2 is a peanut butter powder that's really, really good, but it's not going to add a lot of fat, but it adds that really good peanut butter flavor. PB2 also comes in a chocolate flavor, so you could have, add cocoa powder that way. And the cocoa powder gives you a little extra energy through the tiny bit of caffeine and a little theobromine that'll give you some energy for the day. So that would be like a really good, really, really good smoothie in the morning is frozen cherries, some of that chocolate PB2 powder and some soy milk, all like frozen cherries and maybe, or some tofu, silken tofu added into it for the protein. Really, really good. And then the chocolate PB2 powder, it tastes like dessert for breakfast. It's really good.
Wow.
So yeah, and you can amp up the fiber in it by throwing in a handful of whole rolled oats into it. So you'll get some of that resistant starch as well and some fiber, which would be really, really good. If you drink it slowly, especially, it's not going to spike your blood sugar as high. And the concern about spiking your blood sugar up really high is that if it spikes up high, that means it's also going to come crashing back down, unless, you're having a problem with insulin resistance. But, your sugar should come falling back down. And when that happens, you're going to get hungry. So we want to make sure, it doesn't spike too high or drop back down too fast. You want to try to keep the blood sugar spikes pretty stable up and down, not way up high and way down low. So that's the reason drinking a smoothie slowly is important. So
I have I know a couple more questions came in, but I have a question or two as well. So,
Can I interject something on
oh,
the
of course.
smoothie?
Sorry, of course.
Okay. So one other thing that you could do is add in like maybe some like white beans, like just maybe
Mhm.
a quarter of a cup into it, and that way you're even getting that fiber. And I mean it
Mhm.
kind of goes in hand a little bit like the tofu, but you're getting that plant-based protein in there, and that will stick around a little bit longer with you too in your
Right.
stomach. And it absorbs the flavors that you put with it. You're not going to taste the beans.
Exactly.
It's going to be creamy.
No, you won't taste beans. There's actually a big, he used to be a football player, David Carter. They called him the, 200 something pound vegan. But that was his go-to every day, was making a smoothie that had like, bananas and frozen berries and all kinds of stuff. But then he would also add a whole can of white beans. And he said he never tasted it. It just added all that extra protein and fiber to it. So, yeah.
Cody, I have a question for you. I know that I think that you smoke things, and I wonder in your dish.
I'm sorry, that sounded funny.
I grew up
Cody's been smoking things. Been
Don't tell
smoking
anybody, she's a nurse.
Working out these guys.
Cody's been smoking things. That was funny.
Smoking peppers. Smoking peppers. So when I was
Okay.
watching you, I was wondering what smoked peppers would be like in your dish.
Peppers.
Yeah, that would be really delicious and add
Yeah.
great another level of flavor to it. That'd be really good.
Really good smoked pepper, but they're hard to light. So before you smoke them.
That's
What would
always
your
my
mom think about that,
question,
Carolyn?
Sorry. Just the way you said that cracked me up. Cody's been smoking things.
I gotta help,
That's right.
Maybe like this.
Oh my God, that was funny. Okay.
Very funny, Janet. No, and in case you don't know how to smoke peppers, you literally put it on a flame. And if you have a grill, you can grill it as well, and just put it on a flame till it's charred, and then put it
Right.
under running water and remove the char, and it adds a really nice pronounced flavor. Here, in North Carolina, we have a farmers market. I never wake up early enough for it, but it's in Carborough, North Carolina. It's an awesome farmers market. I love it. I love it when I get there. It's just such a it's such a nice. It's big and all local. A lot of it's organic, and I think both of you. I sent you some peanut butter from there, right? So the pistachio
Pistachio
nut butter.
butter.
Isn't
Yeah,
that
Pistachio
amazing?
that
butter.
was delicious.
Yeah.
Yeah, the pistachio butter was incredible.
It was pistachio with some other
Chili
spices. Oh,
and
A little
with
chili powder and
chili powder.
sweetness,
Yeah,
but yeah,
so
oh,
good.
it was.
Right.
I've tried to recreate it several times at home with buying my own roasted pistachios and making it. It's pretty close. It's not
Oh, it
bad.
is. It is.
Yeah, I've made
Uh,
it. I've made it a few times with some hot peppers and some. Yeah, it's good. So
So at the Carborough, North Carolina farmers market, if you buy during season a certain number of pounds of peppers, they will roast it for you right there. They have this thing that's hand cranked, and they have a
ooh,
flame. They have a
nice.
flame, and right in front of you. It doesn't take long, and there you get
Wow,
all your peppers. It's wonderful.
wow.
Isn't
that's
that?
cool. I wish they
Shouldn't I?
did that at our farmers market. That sounds great.
Shouldn't I wake up early and go there?
Yes, you should do it. That's totally worth waking up for.
Yes. I guess I could go back to bed after that, right?
Sure. See, you can take a nap. Go
I
home and
could
take
be
a
there
nap.
first thing in the morning and enjoy, and then go to
I
bed.
mean, if I did, I would. I mean, I'm always at my farmer's market nice and early anyway, except today, but I didn't go today. But normally I go to the farmer's market
Did,
bright
did
and
you know
early.
there? Did you know there's a trick in spite of what we were saying about oil? I don't know if you know this trick. If you really need to get up in time for the farmer's market, before you go to bed, you put a dab of oil on your forehead.
Oh, because you're getting up oily.
You
I
wake up
get
very oily
it.
in the morning.
I get
Yeah, I
it.
can make jokes too, Carolyn.
Awesome.
That is a dad
You're kind
joke.
of full of it today, Dylan.
Definitely. That's a
So,
dad joke, waking up
what,
oily.
what's a dad joke?
It's a dad joke.
What's a dad joke? I'm a dad.
You are a dad, that's why it's a dad joke.
All right, here's a
Pretty funny.
question from Hyacinth. We're not talking about beans. We always like talking about beans, though.
Of course
And,
we
and
do.
by the way, Brenda Davis, who writes our appendices, we've been doing this for more than 5 years, and she said, you've done all these topics, keep going, but you might want to have some specific. And we did that. We did one on black beans, and we'll do another one maybe next year on red beans or on white beans or something like that.
Ooh, I
So I have a question: is slow cooking beans the same as pressure cooking? Someone asked me. So The answer is some people would say that slow cooking tastes better. I've done it both ways. Maybe according to my palate, they don't taste different, but some people say that they do taste a little better when you slowly tease the flavors out. So the
Mhm.
nice thing about a lot of modern cookers, like my Instant Pot, for example, you can do both of them. So and it's perfectly safe. I don't like leaving things unattended in the kitchen, and that's my one exception because it has all sorts of safety things built in. So you can, if you want, wash your beans overnight, put them in the slow cooker with plenty of water, and just say slow cook for 9 hours. And when you come home, you'll have tasty beans. Put some onions or garlic or other things, some herbs, or put them in when you get home and let it cook for another 45 minutes or so. So it really is still a little more fresh. But I have great luck with pressure cooking. And if either of you guys want to disagree, I mean, I've done it both ways, and I don't taste a difference. So it's whatever's convenient. I feel good when when I slow cook. It's kind of neat to know that those beans are just very slowly getting cooked.
It
But
sounds great, but I always forget to do it, and then I wanna have beans, and I have my pressure cooker, so I just go, it'll be ready in 40 minutes. I'm just sticking it in the pressure cooker because I never think to do it ahead of time to do the slow cooking. So, I need
what
to
do you think, Cody? Have you done it both ways, slow and pressure, and do you notice a difference?
Um, yeah, I mean, it's kind of nice for me not to have to watch it on the stove top. I have a gas stove top, so I want to be present for that just in case it gets blown out and then my house is filling up with gas. So I always
right? That's important.
right. So I mean, like the pressure cooker, you can just set it and forget it until you hear it going off, you know. So I don't know. I don't.
No, but my point, Cody, is that the Instant Pot, you can do either one. You don't use gas at all. You can slow cook on the pressure cooker or pressure cook. At
Oh
least on,
yeah, yeah. I
yeah.
guess you could.
Yeah, so my question was, do you notice a difference in flavor when you pressure cook versus slow cook? Because I don't.
I haven't slow cooked with the
Okay.
pressure pot.
Okay.
So
Another question from Hyacinth. What I understand is there are two different kinds of corn. Yeah, there's lots of different kinds of corn. The one that we eat is called sweet corn, and sweet corn has lots of varieties like Silver Queen, and I don't know all the names. There's like 4 or 5 common varieties. Silver Queen is probably
Right.
the one I remember. Maybe one of you knows the other names. Cody, if anybody would, because you grew up in corn
Right.
fields. I don't know if you remember any variety names. But then there's other kinds of corn, and there's also blue corn and red corn. You know, corn comes from the New World. It was originally farmed in what's now Mexico. My daughter and I went to a very nice exhibit in Chicago at the Field Museum this summer, and there was a long exhibit about some ancient cultures from Mesoamerica, and they used to harvest something which is the precursor of corn. My understanding is that the corn we eat is has to be handled by people. It has to be grown, and there's some changes from what Mother Nature originally initially created. So there's lots of different kinds of corn, but what we eat is called sweet corn.
Mhm. Well, and I think that popcorn is actually not the same thing as sweet corn. So there's actually a variety of corn grown specifically for popcorn because it's like higher moisture content. So when it's
Y-
dried out, it leaves a space in it that makes it pop
Yeah.
open.
I didn't even think about that. We should have had one of us making popcorn and shown ways to do
Yeah,
it.
that would have been a good idea.
yeah.
Yeah, that's popcorn is a different variety than sweet corn, which
Yeah.
is interesting.
On one of the cruises that we went on, I don't remember if it was with both of you or if it was another cruise, but I was talking to one of the Salad Master representatives, and they were telling me a really nice way to make popcorn in the Salad Master is she said you do have to put a tiny bit of oil, but it's like a quarter teaspoon, just a little bit, and then you put the kernels in your high quality stainless. We use Salad Master, and put it on low and let it sit there for like 20 minutes, and it makes popcorn. And
Wow.
not sure if I prefer it that way or not. My daughter doesn't like it that much. Anu doesn't like it so much. I think it's fine. I haven't done that in a while, but that's a way to make popcorn where you don't have to shake it. You just put it in a little bit of heat.
I
And
usually air pop it. I just have an air popper.
Yeah, it's fun. I like that. The kids like it. It goes flying everywhere. And
It does go flying, and you have to put a really big bowl under it and like catch it as it's flying.
I haven't air popped in years. When I was in college, that was my one appliance. I had an air popper in my room, and I would pop, and that was fun.
Oh yeah, that
it's
me
fun.
too. That was what I lived on in college. Air pop, because we
I like
weren't
to
allowed
do
to
that
have
when
any. anything that heated up. So like a hot plate or something like
Yeah.
that.
It
So I
gets
had
really
some
hot
pepper. It did,
there.
but they were okay with it because it wasn't like a hot surface. So it was, although it probably could have hurt you, but yeah. And there's microwave poppers too. I saw that comment. There's microwave poppers. That's what my mom uses all the time when she makes popcorn. It's her little microwave. It's a glass container that you put the popcorn in, and it has a little lid on it that if you want to, you could put like some plant-based butter in the top and it'll melt into it as it's popping. But yeah, I make a really good popcorn seasoning that is, I mean, it's on my YouTube channel. It's the one that has the most views of videos I have ever made. It's like we're in the like 1,000 something views of the popcorn seasoning.
Wow.
It's so good. It's nutritional yeast. It doesn't have any salt. So it's nutritional yeast, and then dehydrated lime, which you can buy on Amazon, and what's that stuff called? It's not citric acid, lactic acid, but it's lactic acid from sugar beets. And so you can buy that on Amazon as well. So it's a little bit of lactic acid, a little bit of dehydrated lime, and then you could do a sprinkle of cumin, a sprinkle of chili powder, but you whirl it all up in the blender so it's really powdery and it actually coats the popcorn. And it's so, so good. And I got the idea from a vegan restaurant in Nashville where they had something similar that they sprinkled on their mac and cheese. And they said it would also be really good on popcorn. And I said, why does this taste like lime? Like, how did you do that? And why does it taste so like much like dairy? And they said, well, it's the dehydrated lactic acid. Like, what the heck? I thought this was vegan. And they said, no, it is. It is vegan. It's from sugar beets. So yeah.
Speaking of macaroni and cheese, so I've been practicing. Next month, we're doing a show on casseroles, and my mom used to make this potato casserole. And I'm pretty sure that's what I'm going to make next month. And I made a batch, and my family loved it. And so I'm still perfecting. I think I'm pretty much done with the recipe, but the cheese sauce is a variation of the one we did on our cheese show, which I guess was in January. And there's some changes for the casserole. And my daughter said this is the best cheese sauce I've ever made, and we all loved it. My wife loved it, and she
What
doesn't
was
usually
in
like
it?
cheese.
What did you do differently?
It's the same. It's just more liquid, just so it can spread in the casserole. And so I
Okay.
was telling my daughter, I said I should make macaroni and cheese with this. She said you should definitely do that. So there's many ways to have macaroni and cheese. You don't have to get the boxes. We do get the boxes periodically. My daughter likes, like, there's all these vegan boxes. But I was thinking it's so easy to make your own cheese sauce and get your favorite noodle and just mix it up. But
Mm-hmm.
anyhow, I just thought I'd throw that out there.
Hmm.
Let's start moving towards the drawing. Let's see. Do we have any more questions? Here's a comment from Janet. I pour balsamic vinegar to help my seasoning stick. That's a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
Janet, you had sent a message that you had trouble with posting questions, and we don't know what happened in Facebook, but it sounds like you figured it out. Maybe you're on Holistic Dish or some other place. And I'm sorry that you couldn't post questions. So if you can share what you did to solve the problem, that would be
That's
nice.
helpful. Yeah. Oh, I agree with that comment about the balsamic vinegar on it. You could put it in a spray bottle too and spray it so it gets lightly coated on everything and then add seasoning. Yeah, it's a great idea.
Yeah. Um, we just mentioned the next show, and I wanted to just give a little preview. So our next show is on casseroles, and it wasn't my idea; it was maybe one of yours or somebody
I
else's
think it was
idea. And
mine.
it's a great idea because we've never done a casserole show, and casseroles are great for the fall.
Mhm.
And so, do you guys know what you're making? I'm pretty sure I'm making my potato casserole. Any ideas yet?
I'm torn. I was thinking of a pizza casserole.
Wow, I've never heard of such a thing.
Actually, okay, so I have to give credit to one of my research participants who told me she was trying to make something, she wanted it sort of like an Italian flavored thing. And she didn't have any spaghetti sauce or tomato sauce. She had a jar of pizza sauce and she used that instead. And she was like, oh, this is really good. It tastes like pizza casserole. So I thought, but she didn't write it down. She was telling me what she did. So I may try to do something really similar to what she did. So
Oh, yeah.
I'm thinking about it. Yeah, pizza casserole. We'll see.
Wow. So there's actually pieces of pizza in it?
No, so it has flavors like pizza. So you put pizza sauce, and then things that you would put on a pizza, like maybe some broccoli, zucchini, mushrooms, onions, things that you might put on a pizza. and toss it all with, I mean, you could use noodles or some kind of grain if you want, but I'm trying to remember exactly what she did. I wrote it down when she was telling me about it, and I told her, go write down what you did so you remember. But she used a meat replacer in it, like it's called Abbott's diced chicken or Abbott's something. It's low enough in fat, and it's a plant-based alternative. But I might use soy curls instead because I really like soy curls. So yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting.
I make a vegan pepperoni, Carolyn. I wish I could send you some for it.
Ooh, you have to give me the recipe for that. That could be really good. Is it the seitan, like a seitan? Okay. Okay. Yeah. Send me the recipe.
Okay.
I'll try to make that.
Janet asked for the new mac and cheese sauce recipe. I just posted. I don't know if it's legible, but there it is. 'Cause
Oh,
I've been writing up my recipe that I'm planning for next month, and so
you're
it's
just gonna
based.
have to send it to me, Dylan, because I can't click on that. It's on StreamYard. I can't do
Yeah,
it. Send
but
it to
if
us.
if you look at the cheese recipes, it's just a small modification to that, and it's really really good.
Okay.
So I'll put it up again here. It's StreamYard pushes it across 3 different places, but it's
Okay.
very similar. Um,
Not
oh yeah,
seeing it.
so our
Okay.
plans for the future is next month is our casserole show, and then this is our 5th year, and so I don't know, maybe after 2 or 3 years, we decided November and December are really busy times for everybody. Everybody. For me, I host the country's biggest vegan Thanksgiving, and I start getting busy pretty soon getting ready for that. And so we came up with the idea. We've done so many shows that instead of being live, we're going to share recordings. Of each of us will curate, we'll pick one of our shows that we really like that's suitable for the holidays, and then one of us will be there. We haven't decided if we're taking questions or not. We probably will, and so we have 3 shows: 2 in November, 1 in December, and one of them's on a Friday. We thought we'd mix things up a bit, so one is like on a Friday at 5 or 6, and then the other 2 are Saturday at our normal time. I think they're both at 2 East Coast time. Maybe we switched one of them. And so that's, we'll be taking a break and showing those, and then we'll be back in the kitchen in January. So next month is our last live show. It will be live in November, December, because one of us will be there taking questions, but we will be sharing recordings. We have such a wealth of recordings. Speaking of our recordings, our website has been having some problems with search, and one of our team members is looking into that, and we bought a new plugin. More information you probably want, and that should hopefully be fixed in the near future.
I don't even know what that means, but okay. It's
I'm not
obviously
sure.
not me doing that. I have no
I'm not
idea.
sure I do either. All right. All right. Well, let's. Cody or Carolyn, did you have any other questions? And then we'll do the drawing, and then we'll wrap up after that. Okay.
No questions.
All right. So, Carolyn, can you read off the names of the folks who've asked questions that are going to be in the drawing?
Yes. We have Martha Cole, Janet Doe, Hyacinth Henry, and Martha Cole.
Didn't you mention Martha's name twice?
Oh, gosh. Yes, I did. So we really just have Martha Cole, Janet Doe, and Hyacinth Henry.
I could have sworn
That's it.
somebody else asked the question. Wasn't that the
I know.
case?
Was there some? That's what I was wondering.
Did you miss somebody? Let's
Not that
see.
I know of, but if
Hyacinth,
I missed
Martha.
somebody, just say you missed me, and let me know.
Yeah, I'm looking. Maybe you're right. Yeah, because okay. All right. So go ahead and number them.
Well, they're 1, 2, 3.
Okay, sounds good. Well,
I
let me
mean, at
go ahead.
this point, I think they should all 3 win something because that's not fair to the one person.
Should I draw one and you're the one who doesn't win? I teach in math classes that 3 choose 2 is the same as 3 choose 1, right? So when you say I want 2 things, well, which one don't you want? So choosing 1 out of 3 is the same as choosing 2 out of 3 is the same number. That's why Pascal's
Right.
triangle is symmetric, by the way, in case you're interested.
Can we just give away 2 corn peeler things?
Well, let's
In
see.
the
Let me go ahead
magazine?
and give away. So our first giveaway, it's actually right over here. Actually, let me grab it to show it to you. Carolyn and Cody, can you say something while I'm getting the corn thing? I'll be right back.
Sure.
Sure. What should we talk about, Carolyn?
You know what? How I cut corn off the cob, the way I do it is I put it down in a really big bowl and then just set it up long ways, hold the top and slice straight down with my knife and then turn it and put it in a really big bowl so it doesn't go flying. How do you do it?
I'm not that smart, Carolyn. I just put goes everywhere, cutting board, and then I'm like,
No. Do you know what? I saw the funniest thing one time. It was a woman who made like a TikTok video of cutting corn off the cob, and she used a bunt pan. So you know how it's like got that little hole in the middle, and she
Mhm.
stuck the end of the corn cob in the middle of it and then cut down, and the bunt pan caught the corn.
Oh,
I thought that was really interesting.
yeah.
I'm not sure where my bunt pan is. I have to go find my bunt pan to be able to do it. But
Can you guys hear me without my headset?
No.
yes,
Okay. So
I
that's
can.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we can hear you now.
that's the corn remover. So I haven't used it yet, but hopefully today I'm going to get some corn on the cob and I'll try it.
Let
Yeah.
us know how
I
it works.
will. I will. So let's give that away, and then we'll give the magazine subscription away. So
Right.
I'm going to draw a number from 1 to 3. Okay. I'm going to use random.org. Okay, so here we go. The first winner is number 3. So who's number 3?
Hyacinth Henry.
Congratulations, Hyacinth. And you got the corn stripper. And then the second one is the magazine subscription. And the winner of that is number 1. Who's number 1?
Martha Cole.
Yay. Martha, I don't remember your name. I suspect you found us recently, and I'd love to hear how you found us. But both Martha, I'm going to write that down too. So Martha got the magazine subscription. So Martha and Hyacinth, please confirm. Yay, Hyacinth is here. So if you won, then please send an email to Karen. I'll put it here. So email. I'll say congratulations to Hyacinth for the corn remover and to Martha for the magazine subscription. And then please email Karen at somanycooks.com and Dilip at somanycooks.com with your mailing address. Okay. So Martha, are you here to acknowledge that you'll get the prize? So Martha, go ahead and send a chat message here that you're here, and then don't put your address here, but just say that you will send an email to Karen and myself. We're hoping to have Karen back on the show soon. Karen is awesome. I think all of us know a lot about food. It's hard to beat Karen's knowledge of ingredients. I don't know anybody who knows more about ingredients than Karen does. She's just amazing. And she's more of a purist than I think any of us in terms of, for example, organic. I don't think if she eats it, if it's not organic.
I try not to, but sometimes you can't help it. I mean, if it's,
I like corn too much, and fresh corn on the cob that I do buy. When we get organic, I buy it, but when we don't get it, I still buy it. I just like corn on the cob so much. It's, you in your show, I made a comment while you were cooking that I also buy from Whole Foods their fire roasted corn, and it's really good. But I think it tastes better making it yourself.
I do too, but it's a good in a pinch. And if you just don't want to do it, like if you just don't feel like doing it yourself, or you can't find it, it's out of corn season, then it's a great thing to have. I don't even have a Whole Foods anymore, but I buy it when I go to the Whole Foods in Birmingham. So.
Oh, okay. It's funny because when I shop for frozen, I like to have frozen corn on hand because it's great to throw into all sorts. We didn't even talk about all these kinds of things, but it's nice if you're making any kind of dish, almost any kind, throwing some corn in it adds some nice texture and a little bit of sweetness too. And so I like having frozen corn around. And it's kind of funny because I'm not very price sensitive. You guys know this with food, right? I'll buy whatever. It doesn't matter how much it costs. But yet when I shop, and this might be a legacy of you, Mom, I'm pointing to her again. My mom was very frugal. She was an immigrant. I think all immigrants tend to be frugal, or many of them do. So when I shop for frozen corn, I sometimes say, do I really want the fire roasted because it's more expensive? But when you think about it, compared to buying the cob, it's actually, whether it's fire roasted or not, much cheaper. I suggest that we give the magazine subscription because it looks like we have lost Martha. Martha hasn't commented. So who was the third person?
Hang on. Let me find it again. It's under my notes. Janet Doe.
Janet, congratulations to you. Can you acknowledge that you're here and that you will send, let's see, congrats.
I'm pretty sure I know Martha. I think Martha lives here. So
If you
If it's the same
acknowledge,
Martha, but I think she's not online anymore.
we will get you the subscription.
Mm, yeah.
Okay, so um, so Janet is here. Okay, so Janet, go ahead and email us. How could your frozen corn with oil in it? I've never heard of such a thing.
I've never seen that.
That's very weird.
There's oil in it. Huh.
So Janet, go ahead and email us your mailing address to Karen@SoManyCooks.com and Dilip@SoManyCooks.com, and we'll be glad to get you the magazine subscription. It's a great magazine. I think you guys get it too, right? Carolyn and Cody. I get it. I know the folks who run VRG. They're really nice.
Actually, I don't think I get it. I get Veg News. I don't get VRG.
Yeah, VRG's is very, very good. They're really
I
nice.
need to win a subscription to that.
It's a good magazine. It's to the point. Bird's Eye. Yeah, so I don't buy Bird's Eye materials. I'll tell you a very funny story about Bird's Eye. My mom used to use a lot of Bird's Eye products. And there was somebody, I can't remember who it was, one of our relatives or friends who immigrated from India. And, I know who it was. It was Uncle Tage in Massachusetts. His mom, she was, so she was shocked that in America you have Bird's Eye vegetables. You even eat Bird's Eyes, and she would never buy that.
No.
So I don't buy Bird's Eye products anymore. My mom did, but I have looked at it, and they do have things in addition to the vegetables. Janet, it would be I'm surprised if in your grocery store you can't find just pure vegetables that are frozen. So maybe the store brand that should be available. So but I trust you've already looked, and that's a shame. All right, so this has been a good show. I got great ideas. Corn is great. There was so much we could have done. Creamed corn, right? That would have been really nice. I don't even know what creamed corn is. I remember growing up, my mom would sometimes buy cans of creamed corn. I'm not sure do either of you guys know what creamed corn is?
I mean, isn't it just corn that's been cooked and then kind of ground up a little?
Pureed a little bit.
Pureed, yeah. I mean, my mom used to put it in things. Sometimes we just ate creamed corn just because it was good. So classic American side dish made from sweet corn kernels in a creamy, buttery sauce, often thickened with flour or the natural milk from the corn itself. It can be made with fresh or frozen corn and is a popular accompaniment to a hearty main course. So. Sorry.
We also didn't talk about cornstarch. Cornstarch is a great thickener if you're making like in casseroles. It sometimes goes great in casseroles. I didn't need it in mine, but sometimes it's great in soups, stews. It's nice if you want something less liquidy. The cornstarch grabs the liquid and makes it a little more solid. We didn't talk about cornstarch. We didn't talk about raw corn. I don't eat it often, but it's nice. Raw corn is nice in a salad, for example. It has a nice crunch.
I love corn. Yeah, I
there's
put
nothing
that in
wrong
my
with raw corn.
salad.
And one thing you can do is you can gently flame roast the corn just to warm it up and bring the sugars to the fore, caramelize it, and not maybe make it really brown, and then strip it, right? So that's almost raw corn. So there's a lot of things we didn't talk about. One comment I wanted to finish a comment we were talking about earlier about corn syrup. So of course I grew up drinking stuff a lot of Americans drink, Coke and 7-Up and Dr. Pepper, all that kind of stuff. And we don't drink that anymore. It has so much sugar, corn syrup, and it's so unhealthy. So once in a while, if we'd go out for pizza or make pizza, maybe it's just this cultural connection. It makes you think about soda. And so when we'd go, we used to have this really nice pizza place, and they had soda, and we would often get it, but it was soda with sugar. So if you're occasionally drinking soda, drink real stuff. Drink sugar, right? Don't drink the corn syrup. Right. And now we really like, and we used to drink that just like a couple times a year, but now there's a product called Olipop, and I love it. Olipop doesn't have sugar, and my daughter says it tastes better than the Olipop root beer. She likes better than sugared root beer. And so I've talked to Brenda a little bit about this, and she says, yeah, as an occasional treat is good. And I can't remember why she said don't drink it all the time. Water's a better choice. Right. But there's no real downsides. But would either of you guys know why is it anything bad about something like a probiotic soda like Olipop with no sugar? What would be a bad thing about it?
I'm not really sure what all the ingredients are. I don't know. I'd need to look at all the ingredients.
Yeah, I have it just in the refrigerator. At your house, Cody, we enjoyed some Olipop.
Yeah, I bought some the other day.
Yeah, I bought some yesterday. So, but anyhow, stay away from the corn syrup sodas.
Yeah.
They're really
I've
not
had it before. I just need to read the ingredients label again. I'm not sure. I know it's only like 25 or 35 calories. It's not.
Let me get it. It's right here.
Oh no. It's good with popcorn. I know that. Like if I want to watch a movie at home on Netflix and have a bowl of popcorn, have some Olipop with it. That's good. The root beer is really good.
All of it's vegan.
Yeah, of
So it
course.
has carbonated water, and then the Ollie Smart, which is it's hard because it's a white can. It's hard to read. So it has cassava root fiber. It has, it has a lot of ingredients, which is one thing which says you probably shouldn't have this very often.
Right.
It has some other fiber. It's just really hard to read. So
All right, hang on. I just pulled it up. All right, it's got prebiotic fibers like cassava, chicory, and Jerusalem artichoke inulin, plus botanicals like nopal cactus and marshmallow root, a sweetener like cassava root syrup or apple juice concentrate, natural flavors, and stevia leaf extract. I mean, it's really just, it's not that bad. There's really nothing in it that's bad for you. So it's only like, depending on the flavor, it's 25 or 35 calories.
And zero sugar. It doesn't increase your glycemic load, which is really interesting.
Yeah, it's a healthier alternative to traditional soda for sure. So yeah, lower sugar content. I mean, it doesn't have zero sugar, but it has some. So.
I thought it had. I thought it didn't increase your glycemic load. Am I wrong about that?
It's significantly less sugar than traditional soda. So that's all it says on here. But it's still a processed carbonated beverage, but it's not really a whole food. So it comes from extracted sources. So it's not actually a whole food. And we really do try to stress having whole foods. So that's one of the reasons it's processed.
Yeah, be clear. We're not promoting this product, even though I brought it in. Cody and I were saying we've
advertising dollars for it.
Yeah, and you've drunk it too, right? So for us,
I've had it. Yeah, it's not bad.
When it's on sale, I buy a number of cans, and I mean, we don't drink it that often. It's like
you know what my favorite thing is that's like a soda but not is sparkling water with a splash of a flavored balsamic vinegar, not just straight up balsamic vinegar, but like cherry balsamic vinegar or blackberry ginger balsamic vinegar. I just splashed a little bit into my sparkling water over ice, and it tastes like a soda. It's really good.
What I do is I make lemonade. I take carbonated water. I put lemon juice. You really need sweetener when you have lemons. So
sure,
I put maple syrup, and it's so good.
Date syrup would be good too.
Yeah, that's
really good.
Oh, that was the question. I had a note here for you, Cody. It says lime, and that was my question. I want both of you to comment on this. I find when I add an acid, tomato or lime, it really calls for a little bit of salt. And what would you advise to somebody who is wanting to be salt-free or minimal salt? Do you also find that the acid calls for salt, or is it just me?
I didn't eat salt in this dip. It's so good. Yeah.
I don't think so. In fact, we tell people all the time in classes, Dilip, that if you want to keep salt out but make it have more of a salt flavor, add a little lemon or lime juice to something, because it kind of tricks your taste buds into thinking you're getting salt. So
maybe it's the association with my mom. Whenever we'd have salad, we'd have lime juice and
salt.
When I add lime, I feel you need salt. That's just my palate, I guess. And I don't add a lot.
I use lemon and lime in place of salt.
Okay. So. I forgot to show you guys. This is the so many casseroles. So that's
pretty.
Saturday. It is. It's nice, isn't it? So Saturday, October.
That's a beautiful piece of pottery. I love that.
Well, thanks to Sarah Kano. She's the one behind the scenes who does all of these.
Thank you, Sarah.
No, this actually isn't Sarah. This is Stephanie. Dominique is. I can't pronounce her last name. This is Stephanie. So thank you, Stephanie.
It's beautiful.
Wonderful graphics, and thank you, Sarah, as well. So.
Yeah.
So I guess with that, we'll wind up. We love all your questions. We're so glad you watched. I know one of my second grade math students was watching. So hi, Theo. I sent a quick text, and he's a little bit, doesn't know how to type yet, but his parents are going to teach him how to use the keyboard. He liked the show, apparently. So we're glad you watched, Theo, and maybe next time
nice.
Theo will ask a question. I love when my little kids also watch. Right. So he will tell you I teach math, but I also talk about food in my math classes.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, bye. See you next time.
Bye, guys.
Bye, everybody.
So many cooks in the kitchen, so many recipes to share. So many cooks in the kitchen with meals for you to prepare. We've got fruits and grains, veggies and beans, more healthy food than you've ever seen. So many cooks in the kitchen, plant-based meals to prepare. So many cooks in the kitchen with ideas we're happy to share.